I'm gonna hit this one off since I threw the subject to Tim. Tim's a punk ass new parent.
What?
He's freshly minted.
Good God Almighty! What you mean?
We told y'all.
Enlighten me. I told y'all. I'm not here on the facts that I'm a punk ass. You know, niggas get mad when we call him a punk ass.
David Ellerby. It's time to Sunday's news.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Tim Tom Bomb, aka No Bandana Timothy, aka Timothy Raw, and this is Great Apes Cafe. And I have a special guest with me. I have two special guests. One of them, of course, you already know. Shout out to my homeboy Kev. Cool Kev. But I have a special guest, man. I know him for some years now. He down to earth. He keep it 100, no filter. Shout out to my homeboy David. David, what it do, Chief?
What's going on?
What it do, man?
Nail on the head with that no filter.
What?
Y'all, they've already coached me, people, so don't worry. If you know me, you already probably prepared like he about to say some shit.
If you overdose, you might need to edit that shit out, bro. I know you don't want to edit.
Imagine what's gonna be left on the editing floor.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I was drinking a little bit. You know what I mean? It's a celebration. I had a big, long day.
A little bit.
Hanging out with my wife and my son. We went into Greenfield Lake Park. We was in a paddle boat. I saw an alligator, and we had to get the fuck out of the lake because of the alligator. The alligator's about, not the 13-foot one. It was a baby. But I'm black. You know what I mean? The alligator and my black ass, that don't mix. Fuck that. This ain't Crocodile Dundee.
Shoot him.
I gotta get the fuck up out of here. I did have a knife on me, but I'm thinking, do I really want to wrestle this motherfucker?
That would have been funny shit.
I
swear that would have been better than any Florida man story ever. It would have been North Carolina man wrestles alligator to save son and wife.
I saw that I had that knife on me, but I already cut somebody. Hey, look, I already cut that alligator from ear to ear. I didn't know alligators had ears. Let's keep that clear. You know what I mean? Let that sink in. They do. I don't know how it is. You know what I mean?
Hey, y'all ever had some fried alligator meat?
I had alligator tail once.
I thought about it, but it started moving.
He said it started moving.
Wait, what? You know, like snakes and fish.
The nerves.
When they was cooking the gator, it was like they were frying it, and all of a sudden, like the piece just started moving on its own and freaked me out. And I was like, nah, I can't do it. I've had frog legs, all that, but the gator, I'm just looking at it like, nah, it's on.
Gator ain't that bad. It tastes like a mix between fish and some type of.
It tastes like chicken nuggets with lemon on them.
Yeah, but the one I had, the one I had was like, if you can imagine chicken.
I'm trying to picture that. That's what kind of chicken nuggets we talking? We talking like
McDonald's.
We talking McDonald's. We talking
like white meat.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
talking
that. Microphone check. My producer said you ain't checked. Anyway, we're going to talk about some good subject. One of the subjects I want to highlight, and shout out to my fathers out there, and I might need to make a part 2 on this, but I want to talk about fatherhood. I want to talk about how it is being a father, especially in 2021, and what may have been the differences between fathers in the past and fathers now, and newcoming fathers, even people like my nigga Kev here, who is not a father. And when I say the word nigga, I'm not using it as a derogatory. Look it up.
Niggas.
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna hit this one off since I threw the subject to Tim. Tim's a punk ass new parent.
What?
He's freshly minted.
Good God Almighty! What you mean?
We told y'all.
Enlighten me. I'm not here on the facts that I'm a punk ass. You know, niggas get mad when we call him a punk ass.
Every parent, when they first had their first kid, y'all are punk ass parents because you have no clue what you're doing. You're going off of what your parents showed you, whether it was right or wrong.
True.
I'm 4 kids in.
So and you a granddaddy?
I'm a granddaddy.
Good God.
A stepdaddy. An estranged father. I'm all that. And I was raised by a estranged father. That means you're not necessarily with the mama. Estranged.
Okay.
You're not with the mama. Me and the mama, we get along time to time, but it's not the best of relationships between me and my son. My son's almost 18.
Right.
And we've had maybe 7 to 10
conversations.
Dave's son.
Shout out to, what's his name?
Farrell.
Shout out to Farrell. Shout out to you, Chief.
But we're working on it. We let me tell you something. Being a father, period, point blank. No matter when you start, it's not when you start, it's how you finish and how you put the jewels in them. But to the punk ass parents, the ones that just started,
hey, fuck you.
It's got to be it is the hardest thing in the world. I'm gonna tell you why. From that first kid, you're afraid you're gonna break them. You don't know what you're doing. You don't want to mess them up. You don't want to screw them up. By the time you get that second or third one, you got some years in.
You got it down to science.
You ain't got it to a science. My dad said this before he passed away. No matter how old you are as a parent, you're always learning how to be a parent.
Okay.
Every kid is different. And I say this because my stepdaughters and my son, they're all different. I can't raise them all the same way. I'm hard on one, I'm soft on the other because this one's got emotional issues.
Right.
This one, if I don't be hard on them, that'll come a serial killer. It's real.
Right.
So you gotta guide yourself along, but it's like in 2021, we thinking like, oh my God, look at all these kids getting killed. But it's like I told you earlier, it's generational. Since slavery, Black parents have been worried about their kids getting stolen, killed,
I gotta drink to that.
Sold off. You take it to the 50s, same thing. And now, instead of it being sold to another plantation, you're being sold to prison. You're being killed by the police. You're being killed by another Black man that look just like you. Kids.
Shit,
and you're being killed by your parents. You're killed from food, killed from everything. So as a parent, you got a new kid. I'm saying you're a punk ass parent, but you got all the fears and none of the guidance to go with it. Because what your parents told you don't apply, because there's been some years between there wasn't no cell phones when they was raising you. Depending on how old you are.
Hold on.
90s kids, now they have cell phones and games, stuff like that. But it's just
Let me interject though, because I'm still on my feelings when you say I'm a punk ass parent.
I think
what do I need to do not to be a punk ass parent?
I think I get what he was saying though, because I want to help out.
He said it because he
was saying like you know how you be like, you tell your son, or you know how you said it, you was like what you said about kicking him out.
Hey, look, so I'm copying. Shout out RP to Pops from Friday. One of my favorite lines from Friday, he said, well, you know, he told Craig, well, since you grown, don't bring your black ass back home. And I think that's the most funniest shit. Let my son be like 18, 19, 20. I'm grown. Well, since you grown.
And that right
Don't bring your black ass back home.
It's funny when you hear it, but let me tell you what we do.
But what's the damage that's behind that?
The damages behind that is this. Your 18-year-old son is not a man. 18 is just a legal contract age.
Facts.
Your 18-year-old son is still your son. He's your son to the day he dies. And when you send him out that
Say
door,
that one more time. Say that one more time.
He's your son to the day he dies.
A lot of niggas don't understand that.
He didn't choose to be brought in this world. You and his mother brought him in here. Y'all are responsible for him till he grown. And then after that, y'all are responsible for anything that happens to him if you put him out that house before he's ready.
Right.
Parents be throwing their kids out 16, 17, 18 years old and then go to crime and put on an RIP t-shirt when the police beat them to death.
Or when they get shot by the streets.
Or when the streets
or when they get 25 years of life for some dumb shit.
Let me tell you something.
Or 35 years of life.
I'll tell parents this. Think about it like this. You telling an 18-year-old, when you was 18, you did some dumb ass shit. Now you about to tell him to go out there and be a grown ass man. This nigga done had everything handed to him his whole damn life, and you about to tell him out there to go out there and get it. Anybody that's ever went out the streets to get it know the easiest shit to get is the shit that you ain't supposed to do. He not gonna go get
facts.
He not gonna necessarily go get a job. Nigga gonna go out there and the first person say, I can give you $100 if you sell this little white rock. All you gotta do is it sells itself. Bam, now you got crack dealers. Look at all these niggas, little niggas selling dope. They dumb as hell. Cause most of them can't even pass a basic test, but they can flip that dope because dope sells itself. But you look at a lot of them and you ask them, what's your dad got to say? I don't know that nigga. He in prison. It's the cycle.
Or a lot of people, I ain't gonna lie, man. I know a lot of kids that just don't feel love and they just looking for the love somewhere else.
And the love might come from a gang. It might come from the streets.
I'm gonna say this to
and of course we all know. We know here at the table the streets children don't love you. But the thing about the human condition is that we want to feel like we belong to something, even if it's not a good thing. Think about it like this: you had people who followed people like Hitler.
Yep.
And they felt like they was being loved.
Because everybody want to be loved and they want to be a part of something. Right. Well, I'm going to tell you some real shit. I want you to think about it. We were talking about it earlier with the ass whooping conversation. There's a difference between ass whooping and discipline and abuse.
I had all three, but
ass whooping could be your parent just mad at you and you do something that pisses them off and they just whoop your ass and there ain't no rhyme or reason to it.
Now
Right.
look, the husband cussed her out. Now you do something.
Yeah, now you do something. You get,
my bad.
The husband cuss him out. Now you get the ass.
The husband cussed the mom out. Now the mom mad at you because you look like him.
And you say something and then bam, you get your ass whooped. That's an ass whooping. That's not necessarily abuse. That's an ass whooping because at that moment, you reminded her of what she hates about your father, and she trying to spank it out of you. Now, here's the thing: when it comes to abuse, is when you walk in the house in a shoe or something to hit you upside the head just because you alive, nigga. That's now discipline. We said it. All three of us said it. Discipline come when your dad or your mom sit you down before you get your ass whooped and explain why you
getting this ass whooped,
or after you done got your ass whooped. You prefer I'm gonna get this to the punk ass parent and the parent non-parent. Always explain to your kids why they about to get their ass beat first because they listening in. Once you whoop their ass, all they think about is, man, this shit hurt. So now they're not listening to what you're saying and they're going to repeat the mistake. But sitting down, but don't give them a long speech. You know, I like what he did when you said your little cousin, you had the belt and he said he took the belt off and hung it on. That is a mind fuck for your ass. It mentally messed him up.
Man. Shout out to my cousin, his girl, man. You know, yeah. But so like, man, I see my cousin. My cousin always disciplined kid. He don't like beating the kids physically. You know, he go stand in the corner. You know, and like, man. You know, they'll keep doing inching. And you know, I go talk to him one time, man. Y'all heard it, man. Why y'all keep doing that? Look, go in the this. I tell him to sit down. And I go talk to my cousin, man. I told him to sit down. I feel like they learn or whatever. And then after a while, you know, after I done talked to them so many times, shit, I got mad, man. I took my belt off and hung it on the door.
I got mad. Fuck this shit.
I was like, yo, y'all. I'm like, I sat the belt on the side of the door. I'm like, y'all see this? I like next time I have to talk to y'all. I mean, I'm gonna use this, you know. But I'm not really trying to.
Yeah, but it's levels to it.
I'm not really trying to. I'm trying to discipline. I'm not really trying to just give out an ass with.
But see, this is the thing. You know? This is not tell parents that don't believe in spanking their kids. Shout out to the parents who can discipline their kids without ever having to put their hands on them. That is a special level of parenting. But understand this, when your kids have no consequence, when they get older, jail got a consequence. That's the consequence of your crime is jail. And there's people that are beating your ass, and you as the mom and daddy that didn't whoop their ass, didn't tell them that there's consequence for every action. That's your fault. And I mean, I'm not saying that what they did was your fault, but the fact that they thought that they get away with bloody murder has been put in their head. I see kids now. Like, when I was a kid, I talked bad to my parents. I'm not going to sit there and stunt and lie and say I did. But I knew what it came with. I'm going to tell you the worst thing I ever did. This falls back to what you said about being a man. My dad, God rest his soul,
R.I.P.
He was 5'8" tall. That's what I thought he was. My dad. That was the lie. My dad was 5'6". I'm 5'9", 5'10". So at 13, I was taller than my daddy. I played football. I wrestled. I used to cut down trees in my grandma's house. I just knew I was cotton diesel. Dumb ass. I was where my grandma's house sell old school shit. So I'm in the room with my grandma. And my grandma's always been my protector. This is not his mom, it's my mom.
Right.
So my dad, I can't remember what the hell my dad told me to do. But I was feeling myself. And you know, I was hot. I didn't want to go outside. I know what it was. We were going outside to cut the grass. He wanted me to use the push mower and I wanted to use the rider.
Then why you want to use that rider?
I said, man, I ain't about to do this. And I turned around. Man, I'm grown. Man, I'll whoop your ass. Nigga. God on the truth. The way my grandma's room set up, I slept in her room, right? So my bed is on one wall, her bed on the other wall like an L.
You know you get your ass tore when they say God honest truth.
No, listen. My dad hit me so fucking hard. Like, matter of fact, after I finished the sentence, I hit my dad. Like, I swung on him. Wow! That nigga didn't even move. I saw a tear form in the corner of his eye. Because in that moment, I wasn't his son no more.
You a public enemy.
No, in that moment, I done stepped across the line. My daddy hit me so fucking hard. I lifted up, hit the wall, slid down. It's 2 days of my life I don't remember. My mama tell me I got up, went to the bathroom. I don't remember them 2 days. He hit me that fucking hard. No, I think my sternum was cracked because my chest was bruised. I didn't even go to school for like a week because they thought I was, you know, back then so I wasn't mad at my dad. But you know what hurt me the worst? What? It wasn't when he punched me in my chest. For 6 months, my dad didn't speak to me unless he was telling me to do something. There was no conversation. Yeah. It was no, come on, ride with me, son. Let's go get something to eat. It was nothing. He looked at me like I spit in his face. And it took me. And you know what?
Do you think you did?
I did. Because I was disrespectful. Because my son ever hit me like that, or my daughters ever hit me like that, I'm going to do the same goddamn thing. I'm going to air their ass the fuck out. Because I'm going to let you know.
Undertaking choke slam.
Because I'm going to let you know right then and there. You ain't grown. And you don't put your hands on me. Now you just step into a grown person's place. So you're going to get treated like a grown person. But when my dad and me had a conversation after 6 months, this is how he did it. He said, get in the car. Let's go for a ride. So we go to Dairy Queen. At that time, Dairy Queen was on Oleander. And, banana splits was expensive compared to an ice cream cone.
Oh, fuck yeah.
He got me a banana split, and he said, don't you ever put your hands on me again.
Damn right.
He said, because the next time, you won't speak to me for the rest of your life. And I remember Bill Cosby said it, and it was about that equivalent. I brought you in this world, and I'll take you the fuck out. And I say fathers now don't have that same authority. When I say that, because they've been removed from the authority of being the father. They're just a sperm donor. And I always tell women, be careful of how you talk about the father of your child to the child. Because they're going to carry him how you tell them. If you say he ain't shit, he ain't this, he ain't that, you poison this kid to his father. The best thing to do if he ain't shit
I've seen it happen
is let them see that he ain't shit because of his actions. Don't poison him. Because that shit come back to bite you in your ass when they find that daddy is a real nigga, he good, he respectful, he this, that, and the third. On the same school parent, daddies now, I see them, they kids out there, they selling dope in front. We talking about they selling dope in front, they doing all kind of shit. And they think that it's okay to do this shit. And you're like, man, but you wonder why your kids out there shooting each other.
Right.
You wonder why they out there talking disrespectful to old lady. I remember one time any old lady could tell you to sit your ass down and you gonna do it because your dad or your mom or somebody, uncles, nowadays, can't tell you to go suck their dick and mean that shit. Stand on it, and then mama be standing behind like, go ahead, hit my kid. Go ahead.
Right? Nah. I don't want that. My child need to understand a form of respect.
Listen. Good luck with that right now. He's under 2. You ain't seen 2 yet.
I ain't seen 2 yet. No.
Terrible 2 coming. This is when you go from being a punk ass parent to being that stand on all 10 dad. Because look,
10 toes down, motherfucker.
Shout out to Helen because she's in the other room. Helen gonna look at you and she gonna turn you against your son in one moment. Because the conversation y'all gonna have when he fucking up and she pissed off is gonna get his ass whooped. If you've ever had your ass whooped because your mom or somebody started that shit, but they didn't beat your ass, you know what I'm talking about.
I gotta drink some more bamboo.
Come on with this conversation. When they come home, your daddy come home from work, your uncle, whoever it is, come home from work, and your mama start telling them all the shit you done did during that damn day.
Facts.
And you sitting there listening as they ramble off all the shit you did, and you watching this nigga get madder and madder and madder. He don't even want to whoop your ass, but at this point, he got to.
Right.
Because he not trying to hear the shit no more, so he coming there smack that. But I think about it like this. Little Hendrix. He already showed me he got you. Because he came out that room. He got Helen too. He said, you know what? Y'all want me in this room, but I'm going to come out here anyway. And dad did what dads do. Picked him up. Got you. You reinforced it. I run this shit. He picked him up. You told him to go back in the room. He got what he wanted. He got to hug his dad. He got to hang out. And he got to go back in the room. But by the time 3 or 4, you got to get, I say this, as a parent, you got to get that. By the time 3 or 4, you got to get the look. You can look at him and point.
Right.
My dad was master of that shit. My grandma's all of it. Shout out to them 70s parents and them 50s parents. Cause they look at you and you knew you fucked up.
I'm gonna say this though. My son, the hardest thing I think the hardest thing for any parent to teach their child is the self-discipline.
Listen,
there ain't no self-discipline.
Wait. You said what?
The hardest thing to teach children is self-discipline.
Let me look at
I think a lot of people
New Age parenting book chapter I done fucked up. Hey, self-discipline. That's
hear me out.
Ain't no such thing, Tim.
I know, but hear me out.
Listen.
The problem for a lot of parents is we want children to act like parents or act like adults.
No. What you just said is the wrong thing. What you want is your child to discipline themselves when they don't know what discipline is.
I don't want that.
No, you said self-discipline.
At some point, when they get older, I do want them to learn self-discipline.
Remember this.
Not now. He's still a baby.
Okay, yeah. Because I'm about to say you got when I
was
only
older,
one. When he like 6 or 7, I get you. But you got
to. He only one. You know what I mean?
But you got to get there.
I'll put on.
You got to get there. It starts now.
Right.
Because let me tell you something. He pissing and shitting on himself now. But you got to reinforce. You got to go to the potty and stuff. You got to get that authority. Because I'm telling you now, these are the years when you form that. Let me put it this way. My kids, they know I'm a punk ass dad. I'm gonna throw the punk ass.
Let me interject. Shout out to the punk ass dads. What do we interject?
I got daughters.
My nigga David look like Young Jeezy right now, bro.
Yeah.
I look my nigga.
Well, look.
Young
Hey, look.
Jeezy.
To y'all, I look like Young Jeezy. To my kids, you know what I look like?
Ooh.
A corny motherfucker. Cause look,
my nigga like Jeezy for real.
Nah, you know what you look like your kids? Dad.
Dad, that's it.
Facts.
See,
That's
I
it.
said
Facts.
all them niggas said it. Their kids, to them, they're just dad. But look, when I tell my kids this shit, I threaten to beat their ass. Like I threaten to stomp mud holes in their ass. Walk. If you heard me talk to my kids, you think I'm an abuser. But I'm just trying to scare them because I don't want to do anything. My wife tell you right now, Dave is the least likely to whoop our kids' ass. But this is one thing my kids know. When I get calm and I say this, if I hear your mama mouth one more motherfucking time, they know at this point, all she got to do is say sick 'em. And at this point, I'm gonna walk in there, close the door, and I'm
like a dog. He like a dog about to chew a hole through the wall.
And the whole conversation when I'm in there, because it's silent, I'm loud as hell. But the end of the conversation when I get through whipping their ass is this. This your mama. This because you kept fucking with your damn mama. I told you to do what she said. You didn't want to do it.
Didn't want to do it.
But it's different for each
I ain't gonna lie. Shout out to the fathers who actually. I got more discipline from my mom than my father.
Every kid does. I don't care.
My father only got
punk asses. We don't. What daddy you know want to beat their kid ass?
Dad, when you see this, I love you, man. I'm just let you know right now. My dad, I only remember him spanking me twice. All hands. I got all my discipline from my mom. It never was my dad.
Listen.
I remember my dad faked an ass whooping. He was hitting the couch. I was like, ouch, ouch.
You had that too?
Ouch, yeah.
My dad did that too one time.
And my mom walked in and saw that. Wait, what? I wasn't really getting a discipline?
My mom tried to. My mom thought I got my ass beat.
My mom wanted to get the belt and try to put my dad.
Look,
yeah,
popping both of y'all.
My dad came to me on this. He said, I'm not gonna whoop your ass because your mom on some bullshit. Because I would have said the same thing to that old lady. Because we was at church, some old lady was popping off in the mouth to me, and she didn't know me like that. And I was trying to be respectful, but she kept talking to me sideways. And I told her, you ain't my motherfucking mom.
Facts.
And I cussed. That's what my mom wanted me to get my ass whooped for. But in my dad's eyes, he knew the old lady, and he was like, I'm surprised you didn't slap her. Because I was like 13 at that time.
Let me retract the fact, though. Hold on. But how does it feel? Because, see, I'm a new father now. I guess I'm on my bullshit, right? Well, how does it feel to be a grandfather? Ain't you a grandfather?
Listen, let's break it. I was
nigga granddaddy now.
My oldest is 18. That's my son. My daughter was 15 when she got pregnant and turned 16. My whole life has been threatening little boys and scaring the living hell out of them. This was an inside job, so we're not gonna talk about that. That's what's up.
Contingency. It's called contingency plan.
But when she got pregnant, she hid it because her grandfather passed away during the same time she was pregnant. She hid it for a long time. I discovered it. So she walks past me on the couch. She's had it on a hoodie. I tap her on the stomach. Her stomach is hard. I pull the shirt up. And in that moment, everything that I ever imagined for her was ruined. I literally cried. And I was crying because now I done lost my dad, so I don't have him to go in the room and say, hey, yo, Pops, what should we do?
Right.
She's too far along for me to give any options. I wouldn't have gave options, but it's too far along for those options. And then I had to save her because when I told Aislinn went to her ass. And she comes out of the room because she was a teenage mom.
She was a teenage, right.
So the violence immediately comes out like, God damn it. Because I didn't want this for you.
Yeah.
Then 2 weeks later, I see the sonogram. And I realized, not only, because I'm her stepdad, her dad is the same way now. We got a chance to be grandfather. It's his first grandchild too, and mine too.
Right.
So my granddaughter is like the light that came into the room. Now I got a 2-year-old, so she ain't much older. So like the two of them,
shit, I forgot you got the I forgot.
So the two little ones have brought me joy in a time my pops passed.
Right.
Yeah.
But now this is my thing. Where I messed up with with my son, where I messed up with my daughter, I got my other stepdaughter, I got them two. And I'm gonna get it right. Like I said, if I go one for five, I'm good. That's my thing. But this is the thing. My daughter raised my 2-year-old for almost a year. Because me and her mom working. So she already knows what parenting is, but it's different now because she can't throw this shit. That's your child. Because you know what I do to her?
What?
Oh, that's your child. But it's easy to be a granddad because this is how I think. You know, she's gonna be raised at my house. As a grandfather, I'm the spoiler in chief. I'm the same thing my daddy was with my daughter.
Right.
My daughter, look, if when my granddaughter go in there and do some shit, I'm not gonna say the same shit to her that I say to my daughters. Because guess what? That's your mama shit you breaking up, not mine.
Right.
Okay.
But the thing is, now I have another responsibility. I have to be the imparter in chief of knowledge. I put knowledge in my kids.
You basically.
I was just about to say that. What was the knowledge?
You got to be that.
What is the knowledge you have to
impart,
subjugate, or affect to, or push onto when it comes to grandchildren?
Dear white people, I can only speak from the black experience. So there may be some words in here that y'all don't like. So I'm.
Oh shit!
There's not gonna be no C word.
Them dial.
No, but in America, when you're raising, I'm gonna break it down. In America, we're raising young black boys.
Okay.
You have to give them the speech. We all know what the speech is about police and things like that.
Right.
You have to give your girls the same speech about birth control and fuck niggas and shit like that.
The speech is let me enlighten. I'm gonna get you to continue. So I had the speech on what to do if a cop pulled me over. Yep. On what to do from put in certain situations based on my color of my skin that may be different from the diaspora of my Caucasian colleagues.
Yeah.
Continue.
So what you have to do as a black parent and a black grandparent is this. You have to fall on history. And I said this earlier. If you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it. And I see a lot of black parents falling away from their history shit. Don't fall for the cookie and miss the king.
Say it one again.
Don't fall for that little punk ass cookie as a cake.
The cookie.
And I say this.
You put that little half a cookie.
I say this like my grandfather, my daddy all said this. The worst thing that happened to black people was integration. And I don't mean integration as far as being equal and all that. I mean integration in schools, integration in neighborhoods and things like that. And here's why. Because we were actually starting to come up. Because if you were a carpenter, your son learned how to be a carpenter. If you were a seamstress, what are all of those?
I agree.
No, wait a minute. What are all of those? Before you go there.
When
those are all self-made businesses.
Self-made businesses now.
What are we trying to come back to now?
The same concept.
Self-made business. We lost that for 20 plus years or more.
The same concept.
Because everybody said send them to college so they could be like their white colleagues.
And then they get
and now debt. We find out that we get in debt. You get a $80,000 college degree to get a $30,000 damn job. Tell you drive trucks. You make more than
more than my associates.
I pump shit for a living and make more than most of my associates that went to college. I have yet to have a job in the past 10 years that I made less than $50,000. And none of them require a college degree. It require going out there and learning something and getting to it.
Say that one more again.
Get into the bag.
It requires what?
Just training. That's it. Then on top of that, I got friends that start their own damn businesses that make hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Shout out to my entrepreneurs. And you know who you are.
But this is the thing. Because they lost the fathers, the mothers were doing whatever. Nobody taught these kids that college is a good thing. Don't get me wrong, college is an excellent thing. But it's like this. When you as a father, like I'm going to teach my granddaughter this. I didn't know economics. I ruined credit cards like nobody's business. Shout out to me paying off my credit cards. But before that, my wife will tell you, credit, debt. I'm going to blow that. They give me $700. I'm spending all $700.
Hold that statement. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Great Apes Cafe. Like, subscribe, share. I must let y'all know that credit is very important.
Yes.
You really got to make sure. Look up your credit score. Go to Credit Karma. Look up your credit score. Find out what you need to do to make sure that credit score is right.
And you're going to teach that. You're going to teach that to Hendrix.
What?
Yes.
What?
See, you asked what you got to do. This is what I learned.
Teach.
This is what I learned. This is what I learned from my dad, who learned
Ambassador.
Who learned from his dad, who learned from this one and that one. Dads in my generation, even when they made a mistake and taught you something wrong, it's time to correct it. My dad, after my dad taught me how to fuck up credit and do shit like that, later on in life, he was like, you got to learn how to fix it. He said, I can't show you because I didn't learn. And that wasn't his dad's fault. Yeah. It was just, he didn't know.
He didn't know.
So now.
Ignorance is bliss.
Now I'm learning and I'm going to teach my kids and hopefully 20 generations down. Well, not 5, 6 generations down the road,
two
or 3 generations down the road, they'll be millionaires or they'll be self-sufficient. But one of the things you got to teach your kids is go back and look at your history. Because I remember when I was in the 80s, racism.
Shout out to my 80s babies.
80s and 90s.
Shout out to my 80s babies.
That racism was some antiquated shit. But we didn't think about it this
Didn't
way.
they control the narrative when they taught you that?
But think about it this way.
They control the narrative when they taught you that.
Think about it this way. My grandmother was born in 1923. Her parents were slaves. That's only my grandmother.
That's a long time ago.
But listen, that's my grandmother. That's only one. Right. That's my grandmother, then my dad, then me. That's 3 generations that we've been away from slavery.
Right.
Now, and even maybe 4 or 5 if you depend on how young your people was when they had kids. But think about this. That's only been 100 years.
Only
100. Like 100. Okay, if you say, if your grandparent was born in 1923, 100 years, or 21, 100 years ago,
right,
more than likely their parent
was a slave.
That's some big
shit. Or if they're not slave, they damn sure was sharecropping. They say it one time.
Now you run around here, everybody run around here with the big head. The 14th Amendment, the 13th, all them amendments
didn't apply to
them.
And they apply to a lot of black people.
When some of y'all grandparents were born, it didn't apply to their ass.
No, it didn't.
So they didn't know how to tell you plead the fifth. They didn't know how to tell you that you had the right to remain, well, not just the right to remain, that you had the right to free speech. They didn't have, those rights did not apply to them. So now I got to teach.
Because you was treated as propertorial.
So what I got to teach my kids on the low that the school ain't teaching them is this, and my grandchild too, is that remember, that same narrative applies to them white kids.
Right.
Not saying that every white person owns slaves, because I know they did.
Shout out to my Caucasians who didn't own
slaves.
But
the ones that did, they know this shit.
And you know who you
want to know how they know this shit? Because they always talk about, I can trace my family back 500 years. Think about this. If they can trace their family back 500 years and they've been rich 500 years, 9 times out of 10, they own slaves in America.
Of course.
If their last name is Johnson, there's a lot of black Johnsons that took on their family's name.
In North Carolina, their last name was Brown.
If their last name is Cameron, if their last name is Smith, all these Smiths you see, that's black. That just meant you was a Smith on the farm. That meant you a blacksmith or
Evans, Randolph. Oh, hey, we said, hey, wait, you gotta be dap on that, bro.
But it's real. It's real. Like, we
Bolivia, where you at?
My 90s and 2000 babies, y'all were bamboozled and fooled in the thing, and that racism did not exist. And guess what? 2010, 2015, they started killing us again, and they started broadcasting on cell phones. But guess what? It's been happening. It's just the schools and everything taught us it didn't. And I got a shock dose of reality that I got to teach my kids. But I got to protect my children. And I think as a grandfather, what I learned from my grandfathers is, and even my grandmothers, that there's 2 things I learned. One was bad, one was good. The good thing I learned is that knowledge is power.
Facts.
The more knowledge you impart into your kids at an early age.
I realized the more knowledge you also obtain, especially when you're a public figure, the more dangerous you become.
Listen, our grandparents, y'all called it gossip and stuff, but a lot of stuff they knew about the white people and the white families is what got them by.
Facts.
They knew the secrets. And then people knew that they knew the secrets, so they used that to their advantage to get by, to get stuff that they weren't supposed to have.
Right.
But now, what I do find that we as black people did that ruined our kids is we kept secrets.
We kept secrets.
Outside children wasn't told. That's why we see so many kids marrying, and then they do them little ancestral DNA things, find out they second and third cousins.
Third, fourth
cousins. And then slavery did that too because it broke up the family. Like, you might be related to somebody here, but your family was sold up north. And now y'all families come back. That's why we see so much disease and stuff coming back in. But you look at
Down
it
syndrome
as a parent, as a person without kids and a person with a new kid, y'all ain't even seen the half. And I'm not saying I'm a pro.
Well, let me ask you.
I'm only 18 years into this parent thing.
Let me interject on this.
Every time I see it, every day I have a different trauma and fear for my child.
Let me ask you this, Dave. What do you think about 2020 and the difference of 2021 and how we need to raise our kids? Because I'm letting you know right now, I'm a little bit nervous.
There's a whole nother
diaspora.
Now we got COVID. We got a pandemic. My 2-year-old When she wants to go to the store, this is what she says. Mask.
Facts.
She won't go outside without a mask. If we get in the car, mask. She will freak out if she does not have a mask on. She's 2. When I was 2, I was running around playing in the yard, doing whatever. She don't want to come outside. If you ain't got on a mask, she don't want to talk to you outside.
Facts.
You got to think that's a trauma. And then my oldest daughter they was in the house for a year. We didn't take them nowhere. We didn't go nowhere, no vacation.
No.
They went from having freedom to being in trap.
See, but as a parent, that come in to being more. You have to give more of
Give more yourself.
Let's see. I'm not a parent. But I'm just trying to vibe.
Let me hear your perspective.
Because this is
you ain't a parent, so I'm gonna hear it.
So like, I came from the family background where like, if you come in with bad grades, I remember my dad told my cousins if they let me get bad grades, everybody was gonna get their ass whipped. So, I mean, I'm getting caught in the hallway. You know what I'm saying?
That's some real parenting skills.
That's some old school parent shit.
But I came from different type of, so I feel like I will be more ready for something like that. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's different, man. It's different. You have to give. You definitely have to be more. You definitely got to explain more to kids than physically ass whipping. Yeah. You got to do it like mentally.
Oh, that's the thing. That's what you learn.
I feel like that's important.
That's what you learn as you get more kids. Yeah. You got to. It's like 99% explaining, 1% ass whooping nowadays.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Because it's so much shit that our parents just whoop our ass for because they were protecting us. And when I say protecting us, I'm not talking about our parents. I'm not talking about y'all generation of parents. Y'all got to realize I'm 40 something. So what I'm talking about is like parents.
Shout out to my 40 to 30.
I was born in 77. So I grew up in the 80s.
Okay.
I grew up in the crack era. Yeah. But my parents came from the era of Martin Luther King. So their idea of protecting me was, if I talk back to white people, they're going to whoop my ass. Not because they're trying to make me feel like I'm less than a white person, but because they know the mentality of the people that they had to deal with in the 60s and 70s. If you ever heard the term uppity nigga?
Oh, yeah. If he uppity, oh, yeah.
And anytime a black man in the early 80s and late 70s talked to an older white person, you talk reckless, as we say now, look at this uppity ass nigga. And the blessing of me growing up in Wilmington versus growing up in like South Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama is this.
Ooh,
down there, uppity nigga got drugged behind a truck.
And then Bolivia. Bolivia, North Carolina.
And then nobody gets prosecuted for it because they're white. And the sheriff is their cousin. The judge is their cousin. Because all the politicians in the 70s and 80s, you look around, most of them was white. They came from the same, you go back and look through the pictures, they probably was in one of the pictures punching a black person upside the head for marching for civil rights. So the parents were different. But now, my generation of me as a parent now, I talk to my kids because I got to explain to them what the world is out there for. Like I tell my kids, you blessed in this house. When you walk out that door, you just another body.
Let me ask you this question, Dave, and even you too. How do you, in 2021, what do we need? What's important to teach our kids in 2021? Because from what I see,
that's a long ass list, but
that's a long ass list. But if you had to pick like the top 2 or 3 tier things to teach children,
I want it from the person. He's new. He's still coming from where he was raised. So what would you say was one thing that you wanted your parents to teach you that they didn't, that you had to learn on your own? That's a better question.
That's a real question.
Man, like, yo.
What was something that you basically learned that you wanted
to impart
to your children?
Your parents didn't teach you.
They didn't teach you, but you learned.
You learned it, and you're gonna teach your kids when you have them.
Man, patience.
Man, that's hard to teach.
That's a big one. That's a top one.
I don't even know if that's possible.
It is. You got to learn. It's hard.
Good God Almighty.
I'm gonna tell you. I gotta just be a little truthful with y'all, man. Like, I come from a hard era. Like, my parents, they might have been on drugs. So like, I kind of was raised by the street, but I learned how to grasp the good stuff out of. Like, I had a lot of OGs game me up, but I never was in a gang or nothing like that. It's just like, they just love to see me doing good. You know, I just was one of the kids. You know, I had that smile.
The one kid that everybody wanted to see win.
Yeah, man. And I always talk to the young crowd. I hang with older crowd, but yo, I get around young crowd, and like, you know, we doing something different. Like I take a kid. I'm gonna tell you what's important. Take a kid to do something they want to do, and then take them to do something that you do.
Yep.
You know, they get to see the difference. Like I know kids that don't have nothing to do, man. I got a couple. I'm gonna start treating y'all better too, man. A couple of my young homies, they be wanting to go to the studio and stuff like that, and sometimes I don't go get I want to go get them, man.
You want the environment to be good for them, but you know what I'm saying? You want to go get them because
I want to go get them, but it's like I talk to them and stuff like that, but some reason I don't always go get them, man. You know, like
it's hard, but you know,
it's like
you think it's a form of tough love that you expressing?
Yeah, man.
But sometimes they do need a little bit of tough. Like
I show kids what I do all the time because I try to do something positive. Like y'all see the other day I had the kids here with me at the podcast. You probably seen it on my story or whatever.
The nieces, right.
So I have my nieces just watching me being on podcasts. I try to show them something different, you know, because they got good grades. I brought them with me because they had good grades. I took them shopping. I brought them with me. I took them to get something to eat. You know, it was like,
just, hey.
I treat kids like that. I tell them, you get good grades, you know, I give them money.
You get good grades, you get a lot of shit done with me.
But is that, you know, at the same time, is that really helping? I'm not a parent.
Listen.
No, that is helping.
I'm gonna give it to you on this one.
That is helping.
My godson. Shout out to my godson, Kanan. If you see this, my godson.
All right, shout out to, what's the name?
Kanan. That's my oldest.
Kanan. Okay.
That's my oldest godson. He's 22 now.
Okay.
But when he told me the things he remember about me as he was being a kid. He remember me giving him his first ass when he was a smart mouth when he was like 3. He remember pulling his underwear over his head, you know, little stuff like that. But he also remembers the first talk.
I hate to be one of your now.
Because, you know, I was young. I was like 22, so I'm just having fun with him.
He sound about good.
Hey, my boy got older, like, what's up, bro?
Oh, he did. He's done it. But look, one of the things he told me he remembers is when his mom called me, not for his grades, but when he started thinking about having sex. And I gave him the conversation.
How is that?
You know, it's real because my dad gave him the conversation. I'm not his dad.
It's over, bro.
But when I gave him the conversation, he took that and he listened. You know what I'm saying? And I never, I didn't pay attention until he got like 22 and he was telling me how much stuff that I told him that I don't even remember, but he remembers it. And I know other kids that when I was doing dirt in the streets, and I tell them, man, you don't want to do this. You don't want to live this life. You want to go get a job. And I see them, they working, and they run up on me like these. Like some of them scare me because like I don't, they done got older. Yo, Mr. Dave, I remember you told me, yo, I went to college and did it, and I'm like, chill, oh, bro. And I'm like, who are you? Yeah. I used to mess with my mama. Oh, okay. And then they put it in my head. But it's just the little words that I said in the time I spent. Like some of them I took them to get ice cream. I took some of these little niggas like Myrtle Beach and shit with me, just ride with me. Just that little bit that they didn't get because they didn't have a pops or they pops wasn't shit, or in the case of their pops just was in jail. I had a friend of mine come out of prison and say, thank you for going by and checking on my son while I was locked up. Because I didn't even think about it. I just see the little man give him a couple of dollars. But that little shit there gave him hope that people, that
appreciation.
Men, now listen, that men cared about him.
Yeah, man.
He knew the women around him cared. Yeah. But what about my dad? Like, he called us unc. You know what I'm saying? So what about my uncles? We're not really his brothers, but to him, we unc. Like some of my friends' kids, I see them talking reckless on Facebook. Oh, I'm in the inbox. I'm in the inbox harder than they pop.
Facts.
And the first thing out of my mouth is this. First of all, your daddy didn't raise you like that. And you know better. And they're like, but I'm just talking. Talk can turn to death. You know what I'm saying? And I've had a couple of them.
The tongue is very powerful.
I've had a couple of them that come at me like, yo, Dave, why you always looking out for me? I said, because I want to see you win. Them 3 words, I want to see you win. You watch these little dudes around here, a lot of them have never had nobody say they want to see them win. All they have is a bunch of crabs in a barrel around trying to take them down.
Crabs, lobsters, and shrimp. And you know who the fuck you are.
I want to say something though, man. R.I.P. to my mom. R.I.P. to my mom, old boyfriend, Cleve. They never got married. But I used to always tell him, like, yo, you're not my dad. You know what I'm saying? And he'll be teaching me some valuable stuff.
But you learn
like small stuff like how to rate the yard, how to,
even though you told me you wasn't your dad,
Yeah.
he still kept trying to teach you.
Hey, yo, I'm trying to tell you, bro, the man had patience, bro. Bro, I swear to God, when he died, bro, this shit hurt me, bro. I ain't even, it was like, damn, I wish I could have just, I remember talking to him on the side of that bed, you know?
Right.
And you start thinking, bro, like, you start thinking like, dang, like, yo, the joint really hurt. It was like, dang, I wish I wouldn't have never.
Let me interject on this though, bro.
But I can't really go back.
It's a lot of motherfuckers I see, like when I saw with my mom passing in 2019, when I saw even with DMX, who just passed not too long ago. It's a lot of niggas who want to give flowers out to when somebody died. But what about when they're alive?
See,
like, you know what I mean? What about like DMX could have had a lot of flowers if he was alive.
Yeah.
My mom could have had a lot of flowers from real family members and friends.
Did you watch?
When they was alive?
Did you watch the special?
Which special?
When they laid him to rest.
Oh, DMX?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The important thing that a lot of people fail to realize was this: fuck them flowers that he got from the rest of the world.
Yeah.
The flowers that he gave out were the blessing.
He planted seeds.
17 kids.
14
or 15 kids. And every last one of them knew their pops.
Right.
Every last one of them had a special moment that they remember with their pops. Something that he said, and all of them talk about one thing. He drilled in them that you pray and you treat people good.
Right.
And good will come back to you. This man lived his life based on that, and he taught his children that. Now you got 15 kids in this world, and because he got some grands, that are going to put that same energy out into the world. What you prepare, that's what I want to say. What you doing now as a parent will affect your child.
Right, I agree.
But it's going to affect generations of your family.
The hardest thing, bro, when I seen that little girl say the opposite of the slipping and I'm falling song.
Yeah.
Yo, that shit, yo.
But imagine how she's gonna raise her daughter.
Yo, that was tough, bro.
First of all,
that's tough, bro. That's
I mean, you can look back at the episodes before DMX even passed. I stated plenty of times because I don't want nobody to think I'm trying to get on that.
No.
That trail. I ain't trying to get on that clout. That trailblaze. It's not about that. If it wasn't for slipping, I don't know if I would be making music. I just remember I was 4 years old, and I heard that song "Slipping" and the melody made me cry. I didn't even know the song. I didn't even know what it mean.
Listen,
just the melody.
Remember, I told
you know what I mean? Like that was powerful.
Remember what I told you earlier. For the kids that don't have a positive influence like Kev or me or you coming around, rap music, a lot of this music is their positive influence. Facts. Or their negative influence.
Facts.
Right now, you got these kids screaming "Old Block" and they follow behind Dirk and all these motherfuckers, but they're not listening to the cats that's saying a cat say something positive, he don't get 1 million hits. I was shocked when Lil Baby came out with that song and everybody rocked with it. But I saw it lighten up kids' ears and their mind to what was going on in society.
Right.
Because any other time is, well, you know, I shout out to my wife, she's gonna say this. I love Pooh Shiesty's song, Get It Back in Blood.
Oh, right.
But for those of you who don't know, what he's saying is real gang culture. When I say real gang, all the shit y'all see these niggas running around here doing, they put on the part that hit me the hardest in the song. Don't wear a rest in peace t-shirt if the nigga that killed your homie still breathing. Or he's walking on the street.
Say that one more time.
Don't put on an RIP t-shirt if the op that killed your homie is still walking up and down the block.
Still walking down
in real gang culture, if he kill your man, you kill him. But on the same score,
immediately.
You ain't got to kill him.
Immediately.
Wait. Now this on the positive. You ain't got to kill him. But if you know who killed your homeboy and his mama over there crying, his kids over there crying, and your punk ass want to sit there like a bitch when the police ask you who did it, and you can solve and kill their fucking pain.
No. It was worse. I'm gonna say what's the worst fact.
Or you dap the nigga up. And
I've seen this with my own eyes.
Tell him.
It's when you go to a funeral and you know who killed your homeboy.
Let me tell you something. Somebody killed me and y'all know who did it.
You and the ops are there who killed your homeboy. And you act like you don't know, and you know who you are.
But like I said,
you know who you are.
That also falls back to just poor parenting. Because nowadays, the streets is raising the kids and saying, this is the code, you don't snitch, you don't do that, you don't do this. Let me tell you something, you ain't about that life. You ain't got that code don't apply to your ass.
Code don't apply at all, no.
2, I done seen too many kids around here right now that know too much about Pooh Shiesty and not enough about ABC.
Or 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Or who is
They can
anything.
tell you King Von.
Who they are.
They can tell, like, first of all, I don't know who these. I know who these cats from music or whatever, but this is one thing. I know kids that can tell you everything about what these niggas went through their life, the stats, this, that, third, football.
All right, but tell me about
you ask them how to multiply.
What's
They
5
lost.
times 3?
Huh? They going. You sitting there going. You just hold up your hand.
What's the capital of each state in
Oh boy,
in,
you want to confuse them? Say what's
America?
the capital of each state? No, how
What's
many
the capital of the state you
I
live
asked
in?
one of them how many states it was. This nigga told me 56.
Dang.
Is he naming territories too? Because the last time I checked,
13 years old, and I'm like, and what grade? He done passed all his grades. How?
now
Because the system is.
I
like said,
apologize.
the
I'm touching my
pipeline
mic.
to prison is real.
Y'all, some of these teachers are passing.
Yeah.
And excuse me, I've been drinking bamboo, so my tongue is very heavy. So let me
You ain't lying.
articulate. Some of these teachers are out here actually passing students without actually knowing the knowledge to pass. And they're like, you know what, let me just get them through and not actually sit down.
Less of a
And
headache
it's
to get
not
them out
just the
their classroom than
teachers.
to keep having them
I'm not
every
going to
year.
attack the teachers because they got a lot on their plate too. My grandmother was a teacher. Shout out to Joe Eva.
Oh, no.
RP.
Mine's a teacher.
My some of the parents need to step up to the plate too and
Oh, yeah.
and do more
It all
than
falls
teaching
back
your
to
parents
It all falls back to fatherhood and motherhood and all
and
that.
do
stuff.
more to teach your children about ABC 1, 2, 3. Teach them how to read.
Okay.
Open that book and read
I
with
got
your
one
damn
for you.
children.
So y'all mean to tell me that the teachers are bad parenting?
No,
They're contributing to
the
the bad.
parents-
The lack of parenting
it's
is
both-
contributing.
it's a negativism on both sides.
I got it.
I can't, bro.
The
Look,
parents,
I got
the parents
this. I
are
got
not
this.
actually doing what they need to
Look,
do 100%.
Tag me in, because I got an aunt who's a teacher. She said it just like this last week.
All right, go ahead, preach.
She said she remembers because she taught here and then she taught in Virginia. She was so she said like this. What happens is the kids come to the classroom, the parents expect the teacher to parent their children,
Right.
but they're not allowed to. There's no discipline no more.
mine was allowed.
Yeah, back in the day, you could spank a kid's ass.
Especially if you know them.
Nowadays, you can't. So you got on top of them trying to discipline the kid, they're trying to catch this kid up from years of their parents just lacking. When that kid is little, instead of parents trying to teach them ABCs, 1, 2, 3, they sit them in front of a TV letting them watch rap videos or doing whatever,
No.
or just not doing anything with them, and then they get in school and they're behind. But once they get behind, you also find out the parent doesn't have any education either. So instead of them eating some humble fucking pie and telling the teacher, look, I only have a 10th grade education myself, man. He needs a tutor.
Yeah, that's deep.
They pry so damn deep, they cuss the teacher out. They want to tell the teacher, my son ain't bad.
The
You
son
know
is
this little
bad.
motherfucker, because he tear your goddamn house up. So don't sit there and tell this white lady, this black lady, this hardworking
parent-
man that your child is the saint.
The parent got a little wild thornberry running around.
Wow, Thornberry. I done see someone
Thornberry.
climbing off the ceiling at the house, but when the teacher say something about it, he would never. We talking about the same damn child? The one you had me come over and pull him off the goddamn roof last week?
Facts. Hey, yo, you know who you are. You
I'm
know
not
who
talking
you
about
are.
anybody specific, but I know some people
I am.
who they're going to defend their children, but they know their children are wrong. And in that score, you teaching your kids that it's okay to be wrong and do anything I want. And you
But the
can't-
hardest thing about being fatherhood, let me interject. The hardest thing about fatherhood in 2021 is that it's 2021. A lot of people ain't really your friend. A lot of people don't want to see you do better than what you do.
some of your own parents don't want to see you do better than them.
Than them, right? That's a scary shit.
Man, look, I've seen a mama tell the daughter that she ain't shit because she bought a house. I want you to think.
Nigga, what?
As they say, let's slow this down.
Now, I've been drinking bamboo. Shout out to my bamboo.
Let me slow it down for those of you who didn't catch what I said.
Dang.
The mama said the daughter ain't shit because the daughter bought her own house.
She
She
just
should be
ain't
happy. She should be.
No, instead of her
She
being
probably said that because she ain't bought a mama the house.
No. The mama lived in the mama's a product of 3 generations of projects. And then what happened is the daughter elevated herself, got her degree, got her education on. She
Got
saved
that
her
credit
money,
right.
and now she's got a boyfriend. Well, not boyfriend, I think husband. I'm not sure. And
Boyfriend.
and the husband and her got their credit right. They learned all the things that they wasn't taught. And she
What's
bought
that
her
experience
she
like?
bought her a nice house.
Mm.
And when the mama asked, could she come stay? She told her no. But let me understand this. She told her no, not because she was being hateful, but she told her no because I've got kids. They got kids. They got their own situation, and it's not feasible. She didn't say you can't come visit. She didn't say, but you ain't shit now because you done elevated. No, you should be proud that your daughter broke that generational curse.
Right.
She's giving your grandkids generational wealth. Listen, I tell my kids this all the time. Everything I'm doing now for them is for them. If I buy a house, that's for them because I'm not going to enjoy it for 20 years. Most of my time is going to be spent paying this son of a bitch off.
Facts.
Working on stuff. You're going to get to enjoy the fruits of my labor when I'm gone. And
so do you still categorize yourself as a punk ass dad?
Yes. Yes.
Why?
You would never.
Why?
Listen. You would never sit.
I mean, there's some tough situations, right?
I think he need to recategorize that. I'm gonna tell you why.
No. Let me say why you're a punk ass dad. You haven't done this yet. That's why I say you're a fresh recruit. What's gonna happen? And I told you this earlier. Your son is gonna trip and fall one day. Not cursing him. He's gonna trip and fall.
Right.
He's gonna get a cut, or it's gonna be some shit that's crazy. It's gonna be like, he's gonna get a lawn chair, fold it up.
Right.
Football field, something's gonna happen. And you're gonna look at your wife. She's already gonna be bawling and crying. But in that moment, your heart's gonna fail. It's just gonna shut down because you feel like he's actually really not just I'm boo-boo, it's a boo-boo hurt, but he hurt. And there's nothing you can possibly do to stop this pain. After you comfort him, do everything you're supposed to do in that moment. And I'm not saying you're necessarily gonna cry for real physically, but you can go sit down, you can put your hands in your head, and you're gonna take a deep ass breath.
Let me ask you a question, Dave.
And you're gonna be a punk ass parent in that moment because
this happened to you? This happened to you?
Let's run it down.
I gotta ask.
Let me run it down.
Some personal questions.
My son.
Yeah.
I was there the day he was born.
Right.
Me and my dad drove throughout the night to get there for him to be born. My baby mama was pushing him out.
Right.
The monitor goes flat.
The who?
The monitor on the baby's heart goes flat. He's in distress. They roll her out the room. I'm gonna cry now because I'm telling you this is shit.
Right.
I see him go by in the incubator. I don't see her. At this time, we wasn't together, but I'm thinking I'm about to be a single parent.
Right.
It was like 20 minutes before I seen her. Now I go to see him, and like I couldn't stop crying because I wanted to hear him cry.
Right.
He wasn't making no noise.
Hold on 1 second.
That's the first punk ass parent moment.
Well, give him napkin, bro.
Sorry, people, but this is part of fatherhood that people don't see, but you need to see.
Right.
The next time, my stepdaughter, Asia, was at the house, and me and Asia, we were together but wasn't together.
Shout out to Asia, that's my little sis. So I can't say little. She older than me. Shout out to Asia.
Now Asia projectile vomit for the first time. I'd never seen a kid throw up.
Right.
Like throw up like that. And we couldn't get her to be quiet. We couldn't quiet her down. She was running a fever. I'm freaking out, and there's nothing I can do to make her stop.
Right.
After we got calm, I'm ice cold, like no emotion whatsoever.
Yeah.
Asia, no. I went downstairs, lost my shit in my car.
Yeah.
Couldn't handle it. Kamaya, it was funny, but it ain't. She was crying all fucking night. I'm losing it. And we can't figure out why she won't stop crying. So I had a pit bull at the time. That was Jada. Jada jumped up on the bed and just curled up beside her.
What was this?
This was a few years ago. She was probably 3. She curled up beside her and she got quiet. And I'm thinking to myself, a goddamn dog quieted her down, and me as a dad couldn't figure out what was wrong with her. But all it was, she wanted the dog. And I couldn't figure it out. And it fucked me up. Back to Amina. So Aislin's pushing her out.
Mm-hmm.
She's on her hands and knees and she's screaming. And I'm sitting over there. She wants me to be so much a part of this because this is our first child together.
Right.
And I can't get myself together.
Right. I want y'all to understand this is real.
Yeah, this is
and
real.
This is real life situation.
Like the punk ass dad I was in that moment, I was back to 18 years. I was back to 18 years earlier. My son.
But I don't think you was a punk ass dad.
No, it's not. It's not. When I say punk ass, it's the joking part of it.
Right.
But in the moment, all I got is tears and nothing I can do. I'm strong as fuck. I can't do nothing. Nothing. I got to sit here and eat this shit. And I got to wait to see what God got in store for me.
Right.
And when she cried, I'm done.
Right.
I was like, and my dad was still alive. I called my pops. I'm freaking out. I'm like, yo, he's like, listen, Get yourself together. Your job now, same as the job you had for all the other kids.
Right.
Be there for them. I didn't know that these words he was saying was some of the last knowledge you get. The next time I was a punk ass dad was the day he died. I'm working for 84 Lumber.
When did he pass away?
He would have been buried. He was buried last year this time, today, 1 year ago. He died on the 28th of April. So these emotions are still raw.
My condolences go to you, your fam, and everything.
So
condolences, fam.
He put the knowledge in me, and he's putting the knowledge into my 8-year-old and her 16-year-old sister. And a couple of nights before, my little girl, she wasn't really walking yet. Amina wasn't walking. She crawled up in his lap. And I remember it because like we had a cookout and all this other shit. I didn't know my dad was sick. He never told us. So Amina crawled up in his lap and she just kept kissing my dad, like wouldn't let him go. And it caught me off guard, but I didn't pay it no mind.
Right.
And every morning I would wake up, I'd turn to the left, my dad's room to the left. And I knock on the door, be like, yo, I'm out. That morning I didn't do that. He was in the dead already. I didn't know that. So Kamaya was on quarantine. Every morning she wake up and go to her granddaddy. She went in there, couldn't get the door open. Dogs went in there, they were licking on his feet, trying to get him up. My 16-year-old daughter, now mind she's pregnant, not telling nobody. She calls me on the road. And in that moment.
Where you was at?
I was in going towards Compass Point. In that moment, she became the stone. 16 years old, your grandfather laying there dead. Your 8-year-old sister's freaking out. You can't cry.
No, you can't lose your shit.
You got to do everything that Ray taught you. You got to stand 10 toes down, hold his family down till your daddy get home. I got home and, I didn't cry. I was crying, but I was up straight.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my kids and I'm a punk ass dad again because I don't know what to tell them because I don't know what to do. So you're going to have these moments in your life as a parent that are going to be so tough. And that's why I say it's punk. It's nothing wrong. It's not that kind of punk where you got these moments when there's nothing you can do. And the reason why I said punk, you can't fight it. There's nothing.
Let me reflect.
You just got to take it.
Let me reflect on what you mean by punk. Let me reflect that though.
Yeah, explain it.
Because my homeboy Dave may say that that's being a punk ass.
It's strong though.
But
strong.
On a real reality point of view, it's just being human.
Yeah, you're human. You can't do it.
And you can't do anything. When I found out my mom passed away, I couldn't do anything.
Yeah, it's nothing.
It was nothing. I was 3.5 hours away. It was nothing I could do. So that's a lot, bro.
But see, this is the blessing that comes from these things.
That's a lot.
I told you my daughter stood like a stone.
Right.
And her grandfather taught her that. I remember there was a time when Naisha, anything happened to her, she'd scream and cry. My daddy would get her and calm her down. He said, look, there's going to come a time in your life when you got to remain calm. He said, you can
bro,
cry.
you want anything to drink, anything,
no,
bro?
No. You can cry later. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But in this moment, you got to hold your family together. Right. And that's one thing my dad was taught. And that's the thing I tell people. These are the pearls that you got to put in your kids' head. You got to if you got a good, strong work ethic, put that in their head. Just like you said. The lesson you learn from your I call him stepfather, but you know what I'm saying? Lesson you learn from, he taught you hard work.
Right. Yeah, he did. He taught you how to he just taught me a lot of stuff, man.
Shit that you wouldn't have never learned. And if he just
I ain't never think about all the stuff he taught me until he passed. And then I couldn't really thank him for it because he was gone.
But the gift he gave you was a blessing forever.
It's just like my dad, man. I want to RIP my dad, rock steady, man. My dad, if y'all know my dad, man, my dad was a real live gangster in Wilmington. Like,
I know your dad.
My dad cold. You feel
me? You know his
dad? Yo, my dad cold.
You heard that name?
You know what I'm saying? And I want y'all to understand this. Like, it hurted me more seeing my dad not cold than seeing him. Like I remember I tried to talk to him. I was just starting to talk to my dad. I was just starting to really, I'd be like I was like, Pop.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm starting
having
to
them deep conversations.
I call him and be like, yo, Pop, man, I passing my grades and stuff because I'm doing the opposite of what I always got my ass whipped for. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm doing the opposite of everything. I was like, yeah, and I just graduated college, and
and the pride.
I just did what he told me to do. You know, my dad used to be, he'd throw roll of money in my face, tell me, you want to make some real money, nigga? Go to school. And, you know, I'm like, Dad, I graduated and shit. And I'm talking to my dad, and it's like he's not what I would consider the same dad. You know, I could tell my dad was dying. And it was the most painful thing. And that's what changed my whole life, man.
Let me ask
from that moment on.
A question though. Is it the pain? And I gotta interject, Kev. Is it the pain because you realize you are powerless to do anything?
Yeah. That's the way I feel about it. But
when I found out my mom passed away, I realized I was nothing I could do.
That's the one lesson I'm teaching my kids. When I said, and when I say punk ass parent, I should trademark that shit. But anyway, it is okay to show your kids that there's something that you are not capable of doing. I told this is a story.
Because in the kids' mind,
let me put it this way.
In the kids' mind, they're gonna look at you as Superman.
Listen,
do you agree?
No, that's where the story going. When I was 5 years old, my white teacher, shout out to her.
Okay. What's her name?
I can't remember the name. I know my mind ain't that good. I smoked a lot of weed. I remember because I got the paper to this day. I don't look at it because it'll fuck me up. But she said, I want everybody to name who your hero is. And I want you to write it down and draw a picture. And every kid in the classroom, white, black, Superman, firefighter, doctor, lawyer. I was the only, and I grew up in the 80s when black parents were dying out. Nigga, you knew your dad, but he might be on crack. He might be selling crack. He might be,
might be in prison for the rest of his life.
Proud. My dad is the strongest person I know. My dad is my hero.
Yes.
That nigga was Batman,
Superman,
everybody, Black Panther, whatever. And I've been that way to the day he died. Let me tell you something. If it was a way for him to figure out something to get us out of some shit, we done been homeless, we done been all kind of shit. I looked to my dad, and he said it's gonna be okay. And that's all I need to fucking hear.
Yeah.
He could have been lying to me, and I would have took that shit. But he wasn't. And I look at kids now, and their heroes LeBron, their heroes this, their hero. And I don't hear them kids saying their heroes.
Nah.
And the crazy thing about when your dad is your hero, he's not perfect. So the shit that he does that ain't perfect.
My dad definitely wasn't.
Yeah, but the shit that he does that ain't perfect taught you how to get better.
Shout out to my dad.
Because look, I see kids.
Shout out to all the dads.
All the dads. And when I say
that's
dad,
being a dad.
Listen, if you ain't being a dad to your kid right now, it's not too late. Let me tell you why. I know niggas that's 40 years old, they pop 60 and they just got a relationship with him. Understand, there's a story as to why he ain't there. He may have an addiction. He might just not be shit anyway. It could be your mama. And she not telling you the truth because she don't want you to look at her bad.
Right.
It could be your grandparents. It could be a lot of stuff. But if you are a dad and you got a son or a daughter and you worried about them dying, it's okay to call them now and say, look, hey man, I know I had this conversation today. I'm gonna keep it all the way 100. Sent my son a phone. He called me Wednesday. I didn't answer. So I didn't know the number. He didn't call back. So I jump on his ass when I get on the phone. I'm in him. And then I felt my dad's spirit like, nigga, how you gonna talk to him sideways when the phone worked both ways?
Let that sink in.
I had to dial myself back and go from being this rah to, hold on, son, let me apologize. I didn't say I apologize, but I said, let me tell you something. We learning each other. This shit gonna be awful. 18 years of not being around each other. You don't know me, I don't know you. I said, but what you gonna do is this. I said, you want me to pay this bill? Here's how I work. Once a week, I want a phone call or a text. That's how we're gonna start. We ain't gotta talk for 5 minutes. I don't give a fuck if it's 5 minutes, 30 seconds, whatever. If you forget, I'm gonna hit you up. But you answer that phone. My thing is this, just like my dad told me, that one of his greatest things was he wanted me to get a relationship with my son. Like I'm telling him,
fact.
I really didn't get close to my dad. Like me and my dad was son and father. We became best friends when I turned 18. When that nigga could take the reins off and say, go get you some pussy. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. That's when I became his friend and his son.
Yeah.
He was the father first.
All the shit that he taught me when I was a kid, now he could really open this up and pour shit in my head. Like, I didn't know nothing about going to work, being dead, raw ass tired. Gotta get your ass up, take your kids to a game.
Damn right. Ooh. That's a whole level.
My dad worked 12s. He worked motherfucking second shift, third shift. This nigga worked hard ass work, come home, and you got a little boy. I'm the only child. Nigga, I'm crawling on this nigga like glue. Let's go. This nigga sleepy. Get out his sleep. Suit up, take me to T-ball. Suit up, take me to wrestling. Anything I did, my dad was, nigga, I look out there he go.
Shout out to the real fathers out here. He might be nodding out
sleep because he tired, but he gonna know what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and he's proud of me no matter what. I could be the worst kid out there. He gonna say you did a horrible job, but I'm proud of you for trying.
Let me interject, man. I agree with y'all 20%, man. My superhero was my grandmother. You know, she taught me how to read. I didn't read until I was 10 years old. Before that, I had a reading level of a kindergarten student. Wow. But when I became 10 years old, I had a reading. After that 1 year, that reading level changed from kindergarten. I'm sorry, y'all.
That bamboo got you, buddy.
Straight that bamboo, yeah. Straight to damn college, you know. And my grandmother was an English teacher. She knew what to teach me and how to make sure I was able to recognize that I got dyslexia. All right. I don't have any dyslexia. I got vowel dyslexia. Look it up. And my grandmother taught me how to read. And I was able to go to college. And even now it doesn't bother me.
See, it's like this. Like, you got a son. And I'm going to say this from the perspective of dads with sons. Your daughter, if you have a daughter, shout out to everybody's got a daughter. Girl dads rule, you know, all that shit. But let me explain something to you. Your son looks to you as the example of what a man is going to be. And even if you're a horrible dad or a horrible person, your son can learn from you how to be a good person by doing the opposite of what you do.
Facts.
And one of the biggest things as a young father who has a son, and I'm going to tell you, and this is from being a son of a dad who poured into my life constant. The pride that you get from your dad is the most important thing. Let me tell you something. Kids that have a dad that's a son and they got their dad, you watch out when their dad tell them something and he say he proud of them. That pride is different. Mamas give out cookies all the time. Oh, you wiped your butt. Dads don't do that shit. We train not to. You should have been sitting on the toilet. You know what I'm saying? That's how
we should be doing this shit from Jump Street.
Yeah, you should be doing.
But you should be doing this shit from Jump Street, bro.
If you've had your dad in your life, and you like, I see this at football games, with Pop Warner games. Mamas be out there all the time. Oh, that's my baby. Let they motherfucking daddy show up to that goddamn game. This nigga might be third string linebacker. All of a sudden, this nigga is Lawrence Taylor out that motherfucker. He ripping heads off. Dude. He hit hard than a motherfucker. And every time he look, he flexing looking at his daddy. And if his daddy over there paying him attention, and it's different because they want to be their dad. And for those dads that's going to games doing all that dumb shit, trying to shoot at each other, your kids is watching you. You teaching them to be a punk ass nigga by doing some punk ass shit. Right. Instead of you going to pay attention to the game, you looking for the op. Fuck the op.
Fuck the op.
Your son, and I said this earlier, watch the draft. The white kids, them Latino kids, and you see their dad in the room, what they say? They don't say, I like to thank my mama. They do, they throw it in there. I like to thank my dad for showing me how to throw this rock. Peyton Manning did not thank his mama. He thanked his daddy. Eli thanked his daddy. Now let's take it to the rest of them niggas. Other than Cam Newton and a few others, black quarterbacks, they thank their mama. Most of the wide receivers, they thank their mama. Most of the black players thank their mama.
Right.
Whether their daddy was a part of their life or not, they thank.
Let me tell you something. A lot of people go respect their mom anyway. It's just
no. I didn't say it's.
I ain't gonna say a lot. It can't be helped. My mom was there.
I get it. But mama was there. But you watched a few black kids that thank their daddy. Tiger Woods think this who? Tiger Woods think this daddy.
Daddy, right.
What Tiger Woods got behind his name? He got a B behind his name.
Right.
Billionaire.
Right.
You look at Michael Jordan. Who do you think?
He did thank his father.
Thank his father. He got a what behind his name? A billion.
Right.
Jay-Z came from some shit. His dad was around, but like he said, dad was too busy drinking Miller Nips and snorting coke. But he thanked his mama. But look at what kind of father he is. He changed the table. He flipped the table and said, I'm gonna be a better dad than my dad ever was.
Right.
That B behind his name, his kids gonna have a B behind his name.
Right.
You look at
LeBron.
I don't even think LeBron know who his dad is, honestly. He has an idea of who he is, but he's an excellent example of what a father is supposed to be without the examples of having.
I think when it comes down to it is we want all our children to do better than what we did.
You got to break that generation.
And I want to make sure that if anything I teach my son, besides self-discipline, besides that he have a loving, caring family, and I hope that God bless me to see him go to an age where he go to college, he get married, whatever you don't even have to be college. It could be, whatever you do.
Just be
you know
proud
what I mean?
of him. That's the
I just want to be
thing.
proud of him and whatever avenue he takes.
That's the one thing.
And I just want my son to be proud more so than my father proud of me. And I know my father's proud of me, but can you imagine when I'm proud of my son? I'm already proud of my son because we not in the projects, you know what I mean? And that's a big difference. Shout out to my niggas who are in the projects, who are going through that struggle, willing to make a change.
The start of pride is when you see them walk for the first time. And you ever watch the mamas when they walk? They ready to catch them. As a dad, you want them to fall. Because what you want to see is the opposite of what she wants to see. She don't want to get hurt. What you want to see is that he's going to get up.
Pain is necessary for
No,
growth.
it's not necessarily pain. You want to see him get up. Because if he don't get up, you're going to go over there and encourage him to what?
Get up.
Stand. And when I hear people, and I hear women say toxic masculinity, I'm not teaching my kid toxic masculinity as a boy when I say, when he fall down.
It's not toxic masculinity.
When he fall down, I say, don't cry. I'm not saying don't cry because you're in pain. What I'm telling you is before you cry, stand up. The reason why I want you to stand up is so you can check yourself, see if you're hurt. See if you're injured. While you sitting there crying, you ain't doing nothing but crying.
Yeah.
Mama's coming over there. She picking you up. She holding. But one day, mama not going to be there. Daddy not going to be there. So I got to see, as a father, that is my job. My job, and shout out to my wife. I've been trying to explain this for years. Thank God. Maybe she'll listen to this podcast. My job
shout out
as a dad.
Shout out to my wife. Shout out to his wife.
My job as a dad in this world is to make sure that when I'm dead and gone, that these motherfuckers don't fold. That's it. Facts. I don't want my kids to fold.
My son can't fold. Folding is not an option.
If my dad died and I would have folded, my family was done.
I'm on my Diddy.
Y'all, listen. As hard as it is to understand, that's the one thing I'll say if you're a dad in 2021. Teach your kids to stand.
Teach your kids to stand and actually stand up for a concrete reason.
Yeah, like,
you know
listen,
what I mean?
Like,
ladies and gentlemen, hold on, let me interject. This is Great Apes Cafe. Like, subscribe, share. Before I wrap this up, my producers, he's giving me the signals. I already know I'm way past some of my limits. My DJ can try to fight me. He already know I'm gonna win anyway.
Okay, we're gonna
anyway, anybody want to wrap this up before we actually? Anybody got anything left to say before we close this up?
I just want to say shout out to all the dads that's being dads to their kids, and then shout out to the moms too that are the dads.
When the mother gotta be both the mother and father, that's a lot.
Cause that's tough too, man. I got a real strong mom. I got a real strong dad too, but it's like when you really take both sides for what it is, you start to understand just the fact of what if your mom, like my mom and my dad wasn't together. So at the end of the day, I just want to let y'all know, man, it's always good to have a mom and a dad, but this for your parents, man. Just listen to your parents and suck up all the juice you can. Why you can, man.
Be why they here, because you never know. Every day is not promised.
Now, my last thing is this: take it for somebody who lost their father recently, and their mother can't remember a lot of things. While you got your parents, soak up that knowledge, interject it into your kids. And for all the moms that's got to be mom and dad, remember, if you got a brother that you trust, a friend of the family, and you don't know what to do when it comes to raising these little boys, or even you just need somebody to be there for your daughter as a father figure, don't be afraid to ask somebody. Because let me tell you something. Just like he said, the few words from his step pops, he wasn't able to thank him, but he appreciate that knowledge now.
All right.
I know people,
long way.
I know people right now that all they need is some encouragement from a father figure, whether it be a man, a woman, an uncle, a brother, a cousin. And that's all they're going to need to stop them from being in those streets and getting them on a path to being a better person. Yeah.
Or a path of self-destruction.
Yeah. Because you can turn, like I said, you can turn them left or you can turn them right. So pick the right person. But there's no time limit on when you can correct the situation with your kids. That's fact.
Facts. You're right.
Well, there is a time that's called death. If you dead, it's too late. But
If you
before you pass, you better figure it out.
Facts.
My name's Cool Kev. My bad.
Dave,
this won't be the last time they on here. I gotta bring Dave back on here. Dave talked about a serious situation about fatherhood. And let me tell you something. Just because you know how to pump and send your seed and fertilize the egg necessarily doesn't mean that you know how to be a father. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Great Apes Cafe. My name is Timothy Raw. I want you to like, subscribe, share. Yes, I've been drinking. And I want everybody to have a good day. And just, do what you got to do. But always remember that when it comes to advice, just take this advice. Be wary of pretend gestures of admiration and hidden agenda. And everybody's not your friend, but you can be your own best friend if you take your own advice, as long as that advice is powerful. This is Great Apes Cafe. I definitely salute to the mothers who are being both mothers and fathers, and the fathers who are also doing their job. You know what I mean? Shout out to y'all. Much love, respect. Deuces. Until next time, you will see Dave and you will see Cool Kev again. That's all I got to say. I got to drink to that, boy.
Y'all need one of those things with cut. I'm looking at him like, can we cut now? We good?